Why are we actually here as a society? Because it started with Ronald Reagan. Trickle-down economics is a lie. It's a total and utter lie. There is this belief that if you gave rich people tax breaks, that it would trickle down to the people that work for them. How's that working out? 15,000 people at Walmart are on government assistance, 10,000 of them on Medicaid, while the CEO makes $17 million a year. Does that trickle down? No. See, as a rule of thumb, for voters, these are facts, that Democratic voters are more educated and they have critical thinking. They see that the rich people are screwing us, that we need to tax them, and the money actually needs to be put into the pockets of everyday people. On the Republican side, what you find in red states, as a majority, is that they are highest in poverty, lowest in wages, lowest in manufacturing, lowest in education, lowest in wealth. Those are just facts. But what they've done is that the politicians in the Republican Party have scared uneducated, fake white Christians into blaming everybody else for their life, except for the person looking back in the mirror. The last election, it was immigrants, right? The brown people picking your strawberries is the reason that you're poor. But somehow, at the same time, they were voted for an adjudicated rapist and a convicted felon as a president. Because they know how to weaponize their lack of education, and they tap into their racism and their white supremacy and their fake version of Christianity. We are all getting played right now by the rich people. All of us are. And one party just refuses to admit why we're here. And I am not a Democrat, and I am not a Republican. The Republicans want to get into culture wars, DEI, CRT, transgenders, tampons in bathrooms, the libtards, the radical left, woke, 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 woke. And now we're here because you spent so much time in culture wars that you were so happy about renaming the Gulf of Mexico that the economy is going down the crapper. Now on the Democratic side, they suck ass at messaging because they have no backbone. And for a lot of them, on the far left, it's blue MAGA. There's this elitist, snobby attitude of perfectionism and I am holier than thou, right? Vice President Harris only checked 97 out of 100 boxes. I'm going to vote for Jill Stein because it's going to make me feel good. I'm going to show the system. And some of those votes might have changed the election. But at least they slept good at night. They fought for what they wanted. That's stupid. Now, the Democratic politicians, when you hear this orange pig in the White House talking about children coming home as transgenders, where was the Democrats' pushback? Hey, Orange Piggy, give me the names of 50 children in grades K through 12 that came home a different gender. Give me the names of 50 people who were not qualified as DEI. Give me the names of 50 schools in grades K through 12 that teach CRT. They didn't do a damn thing. Nothing. The squeaky wheel gets the attention. And the Democrats aren't willing to get down and dirty. You got to give the Republicans credit for something. They're going to go down with this convicted felon, this morally bankrupt piece of human garbage, to the very end. They will fight for him tooth and nail, as morally bankrupt as it is, while the Democrats sit by and watch it happen. And the best metaphor that I have is the analogy with George Floyd, that the Republican Party is the officer that had his knee on his neck and murdered him, while the three officers are the Democrats that stand by and watch it happen. We are both being played because the Democrats are watching this happen, asking for $10, asking for $5. You don't have a choice but to vote for us because we're not the Republicans. And we're all sick of it. I no longer want to vote for the lesser of two evils. I don't want rich people buying elections. I want to go to the polls like we saw in New York City for Zohran Mamdani and be excited to vote for somebody. That's what I think we all want. And we're all so sick and tired of people just taking our damn money while we can't pay our bills, while they're making millions and millions of dollars, earning $180,000 a year salary, while minimum wage is still $7.25. That's why we're here. Yes, the racism and the white supremacy is a big part of it. But we're all getting played fighting over breadcrumbs. And part of this country has been weaponized with their white supremacy to think that the brown people are the reason they're getting breadcrumbs instead of the people that are giving us the breadcrumbs. We have to wake up and realize that we're all being played. It's like my thumbnail. We're all living in poor man's monopoly. We're all getting screwed. All of us. Can we stop the culture war bullshit, please? Stop it. And for all of you fake Christians out there with your gold crosses, I want you to think about this and ask yourself this question. Why is it that you're blaming a undocumented immigrant who's been here for 30 years that's picking your almonds, never been found guilty of a felony? Sure, it's a civil offense to be undocumented. They came here with their family to get a better life. But at the same time, you had no problem voting for a white man who's a felon, who caused an insurrection, who cheats on his wife, who's been found liable for sexual assault, and is very likely a pedophile on the Epstein files. Tax fraud, didn't rent to black people. 5 officers died. So why don't you ask yourself, for once, have a little bit of critical thinking. Have a little bit of put your pride aside and then ask yourself, why is it you think that a person picking your strawberries is the reason you are where you are? And for the Democrats, where's your fight? Where's your anger? Why were there only 7 million of you on a Saturday for no Kings when 75 million people? That fight is why we're still here, because not enough of us are willing to be uncomfortable. And I understand you don't want to go on a general strike because you can't afford to, but that's the reason we can't afford to, is because we're not fighting hard enough for it. Our black brothers and sisters don't have the luxury of just sitting it out. We do. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to do everything I can to fix it. If I have to run for office one day, then I will. But we as a society have to break away from this tribalism bullshit. Vote blue no matter who and own the libs. That is lacking of critical thinking. It is purely emotional. I have voted for Republicans, Democrats. Hell, I voted for Ross Perot. I have always voted for the first candidate. And until we start doing that and realize that the people in office on both sides are screwing us, we're never going to fix this problem. Have a good day.